Hello, this is John Paval with this week's roundup of live streams of orchestral works and operas. That's right, we have two operas coming to you live stream free of charge, one from Italy and up in Lombardy, and one from Hannover, Germany. And we have orchestral works from Lisbon, from Berlin, and from way out in Siberia, the Tomsk Academic Symphony Orchestra, also known as the Tomsk Phil. Before we get started, let me remind you, if you're watching this video on Facebook, click on the like button so we can send you an invitation to follow us. If you're watching this on YouTube, click on that subscribe button underneath the video. If you're watching us on our other platforms, please follow us and subscribe to us. That would be X, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads, or all of them. Because the more followers we can get, I may finally be able to monetize this, what has become a full-time job for me. In return, we guarantee you we will provide you more than 1,000 live links to live performances online in 2025. All you got to do is follow us. Okay, so now let's get to what's going on this week. In the picture there, I can show you, you've got people like Paweł Capula, the Polish composer over there on the right. You've got Daniel Melnikov up above on the piano. You've got Daniel Harding on the left. The picture in the middle there is a clip from a terrific concert that's going to be going on in Tomsk about Shostakovich's Leningrad Symphony. And on the left and right on the bottom are two operas this weekend, one of which is about the Munich catastrophe, the terrorist attack in 1972. It's newly commissioned and it's opening night. And the other one is an interesting variation on how to do Bellini's Romeo and Juliet, his Capulets and Montagues. So having said that, by way of preface, let me start getting down to what we have for you this week. I don't know how anyone can go through this week's live streams and not find at least one where they say, wow, I have to tune in for that. Already yesterday we had at Mariinsky Theater, we had this Turkish conductor, Jamie Jan Delierman, conducting Schoenberg and Rachmaninoff, which was a great program. Anyway, so let's get on to the first of this week's big stage productions that we have for you. I call orchestra and opera and ballet big stage productions. Polish conductor Paweł Capua and Russian pianist Alexander Melnikov team up to bring you exciting music by Beethoven and Hindemith this Thursday, January 23rd, with the Gulbenkian Orchestra in Lisbon. That'll be at 8 o'clock in the evening, European time. This, by the way, is a sold-out concert. And it would cost you as much as 40, 50 euros to get in the door. And it's offered to you by the Gulbenkian Orchestra and Foundation free of charge. And this is a top-level orchestra, which I can commend to you. Now, they're going to be doing, they're going to start with Paul Hindemith's Mathis der Maler Symphony, but that's actually based on his opera of the same name. So if you're an opera lover, this may be of interest to you as well. And then they will follow that with Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 5 in E-flat major, Opus 73, known as the Emperor Concerto. The Emperor Concerto, musicologists tell us, it set a new standard for the concerto. If you wonder why the concertos you hear by people like Brahms, or other composers thereafter, after Beethoven, don't quite sound like the ones you would hear from Mozart or Haydn. Well, yeah, because it all changed because of Beethoven. Let me talk to you a little bit about this pianist, Alexander Melnikov. He's Russian. And Paweł Capua, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, because it's Kapul with a slash through an A, which I understand is pronounced as W, not L in Polish. So it would be Paweł Capua, actually, I think. But to you, it looks like Paweł Capula. So there you have it. Anyway, let's talk about the Russian pianist first. This guy is everywhere these days, and he is really a top-notch expert. he live streamed last Saturday evening, and we told you about it in advance, on March Vivo in Madrid. And it was a chamber music concert. This is by himself, and he was playing 4 or 5 different pianos to demonstrate different kinds of period music. So he had a Taskin harpsichord, a Walter Forte piano, 2 Broadwood pianos from the 1830s, and a Pleyel from 1853, and a Steinway Grand from the 21st century. He was playing J.S. Bach, C.P.E. Bach, Mozart, Mendelssohn, Chopin, Schnittke. Incredible. Okay, so this guy it's so expert. He went to the Moscow Conservatory and has ever since specialized in historically informed performances. So when he plays Beethoven's Emperor Concerto, he has it in mind where it stands historically and musicologically. He's been a soloist with everybody from the Philadelphia Orchestra to the Munich to the Rotterdam to BBC. He's won awards for his recordings with Harmonia Mundi, including the Preis der Deutschen Schallplatten Kritik, which I love to pronounce, the German Record Critics Prize of the Year. So, he's hot stuff. Now, have I shown you his photo? No, I probably didn't even get to show you his photo yet. Let me show you the individual photo of these 2 guys, Melnikov and Pekua. There's 2 of them focused in on more. Now, so that's Melnikov. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Paweł Capula, the Polish conductor. He's been described by Polish radio as a real hope for Polish conducting. Well, I guess they need hope. He has debuted in the last year or 2 with orchestras like the Japan Philharmonic, the Guiyang Symphony Orchestra, the Xi'an Symphony Orchestra. So he went to the Far East. The Hamburg Symphoniker, the Danish Chamber Orchestra. He's also been with the Oslo Opera Orchestra, the CBU Philharmonic, the Gothenburg Opera Orchestra, lots of opera orchestras, actually. So he's moving up in the world, as you can see. Since 2021, he's been the principal guest conductor at the Pomeranian Philharmonic in Bydgoszcz, Poland, where he's attracted a lot of attention. And they just released a recording project which he did with all of the Beethoven piano concertos with the Prague Philharmonic Orchestra. So this is not his first time around the block conducting a Beethoven concerto. He's steeped in it. He originally studied piano, and he studied piano at Krakow Music Academy, and then got a musicology degree at the Jagiellonian University in Krakow. So the guy knows what he's doing. I can tell you, I think it's going to be in these 2 guys, and I love the idea that it's a Russian pianist and a Polish conductor. If you know about the clashes between if you know anything about history, it's always a good thing. Russians and Poles are doing something together rather than not together. And I will say no more about that, but I am a lover of peace. So that's what you have on Thursday night. It's free of charge. Let me make sure I gave you the exact times. I may not have. That's at 8 o'clock in the evening, European time, 2 in the afternoon on the East Coast, and 11 in the morning on the West Coast. You can take time out for a late lunch or an early lunch on the East or West Coast and check this out, or have it in your earphones at work. What the heck? It's free of charge. What do you have to lose? Okay, now the next offering that we have up for you will not be free of charge, but it promises to be a very interesting concert. This will be on Saturday night. You can almost always count on the Berlin Philharmonic to bring out somebody like this guy, Daniel Harding, to conduct on a Saturday night. And he's doing a kind of a spacey kind of program, you could say. He'll be conducting Daniel Holst, The Planets, among other things. This will be Saturday, January 25th, 7 in the evening, European time, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Saturday afternoon on the East Coast in the U.S., 10 in the morning on the West Coast. It will not be free of charge. It costs you €9.90 to get a 1-week voucher, or you can get for $9.90, that's about euros, that's about $11, or you can get a monthly subscription, which you can cancel at any time, for for 16 euros 90 cents, which is about $18. Now, the thing I'll mention to you about that subscription is they during a busy month, they'll sometimes do 4 or 5 live streams a month. So before deciding whether or not you want to do either of these things, you want to go to their digitalconcerthall.com page, which will give you the link to it, and see what they're live streaming in the next month. And it might be worthwhile. If they're doing 4 or 5, then you're not paying $18 for a month. You're paying, $3, $4 per concert. And the Berlin Philharmonic is always high quality. Anyway, maybe I should talk to you about the actual music that they're going to be doing. They're going to be doing, where do I have my rundown? They're going to start out with a piece called Komarov's Fall by Brett Dean. Now, why are they doing a piece called Komarov's Fall by Brett Dean? Well, because when the Berlin Philharmonic was doing Holst Planets back in 2006, they commissioned 4 different composers to compose works to go with it, one of which was Brett Dean's Komarov's Fall. So that's why they're performing it. Dean is a former violinist with the Philharmonic, and he was inspired to compose a Komarov's Fall by the death of the Russian cosmonaut, Vladimir Komarov, who died during a Soviet space mission back in 1967. Maybe that's why they didn't push on to go to the moon, because people were dying in the process. So they're starting out with that piece by Brett Dean, right? Then after that, they're going to proceed to do a piece by Schoenberg, which is called 5 Pieces for Orchestra. It's Opus 16. Now, why are they doing this Schoenberg? Well, because Holst was a great admirer of Schoenberg's 5 Pieces for Orchestra, and he when he was composing this new piece, he had that in mind. So and he was also trying out a new compositional style towards which Schoenberg was kind of leading the way. So, and then after that, finally, then they will get to doing Gustav Holst's Planet in the second half. And coming in with that will be the women of the Berlin Rundfunkchor, which is the women's chorus in Berlin. So Daniel Harding, if you don't know anything about him, here, if you really want to know something about Daniel Harding, here's the thing you want to know about him. All right. I got another picture of Daniel Harding. Daniel Harding had a 3-year contract with the Orchestra de Paris back in the mid-teens, like 2016 or to 2018, something like that. And he quit at the end of it. And it was a little bit scandalous, because to quit after just one term, what was he not happy? Were the musicians not happy? No, everything was copacetic, but he wanted to take a year off. You know what he did during the year off? He trained to become an airline pilot so he could be a pilot for Air France, which he is to this day. So he'll fly for Air France on a Thursday and conduct on a Friday. So he's a very interesting guy. He came up under Simon Rattle, Sir Simon Rattle, with the Birmingham Orchestra. That's how he got trained. And then when Simon Rattle left, he took over at that orchestra, and he's worked with a lot of other orchestras. Currently, dear to my heart, he is the artistic director and chief conductor of the Stockholm Radio Symphony Orchestra, and since I think 2017, something like that. I don't know. And he's a member of the Royal Swedish Academy of Music, and he's a knight and officer of the Order of Arts and Letters of the Republic of France. So, so that's your Saturday night offering that we have for you. And now, I told you we were going to have some operatic offerings to tell you about. I'm leaving them for the end, because I want to tell you about one more orchestral production that's going to be going on this week. It'll be on Monday, but the thing is, we usually don't do our weekly roundup until after Monday. So if I don't tell you about it now, I will not have told you about it at all, and I want to tell you about it. Well, actually, wait. There are 2 pieces I need to tell you about, and I have to back up on this. Need to back up on this just a little bit because we have two pieces for you from this, coming to you from the Tomsk Philharmonic. Sunday, January 26th at noon European time, the Tomsk Philharmonic strings and percussion sections put on a concert called Without a Conductor to do Rodion Shchedrin's ballet Carmen Suite. This is a piece that Rodion Shchedrin, who is a percussionist himself, put together using only strings to replace the voices. He's using the music from Bizet's Carmen, using strings to replace the voices, and percussion to emphasize the choreographic, the balletic nature of Bizet's music. And so when we talk about percussion, we don't just mean drums, it means xylophone, timpani, maracas, castanets, so you can get melody out of it as well. And the concertmaster, whose name is Semyon Promo, will be telling you what types of percussion they're using and why they are needed in the music. And there will be music by Bizet, but also Khachaturian, Tariverdiev, Ekimovsky, and Einaudi. So if you're a lover of Bizet's Carmen, then you could be interested in tuning in for this concert. Now, I want to tell you about one more concert by the Russians while we're on the subject. And this has to do with the very terrible Battle of Leningrad, which took place when the Germans were invading. Monday, January 27th, the Tomsk Philharmonic puts on a bombastic performance of Shostakovich's Symphony No. 7, the Leningrad Symphony, with a light show and a video display. It's all about a major event in the history of the Russian people. It will be Shostakovich's seventh, called Leningrad Symphony. This was a huge deal for the Russians. The Germans were attacking, and the Russians held out to the very last drop of blood. Really, it's something seared in the memories of the Russian people. And as you can see from the photo that I provide to you, you can see the conductor there with the orchestra around him. And then there's a light show that comes on at different times. I haven't shown you all of that, but there's like a laser light show that takes place. And in addition, then on the video screen, they show scenes from the warfare from the battle. I mean, it's a big deal, and it's this show has been done before. It was enormously popular. Once again, this is one of those things people pay a lot of money to see. A lot of their rubles go to seeing this, and you get it for free. Now, in order to watch in order to watch the Tomsk Philharmonic, we give you the link to their news page of the orchestra, and then you click on the first window. So when you go there on the 27th, you'll see when you go to that page, the link will give you, there'll be a box, and you click on the first box, and it should show you then the live stream. They also have a YouTube page, but where they show recordings afterwards, but I'm not certain you can see this concert. If this kind of a multi-sensory experience interests you, then check it out. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, which is kind of apropos for one of these operas, we come to this weekend's two operatic performances. Well, actually, opera performances, not just operatic. Let me make sure that I give you the right one first. Yeah. This too is about a historic event. Not this one, not like in Russia, but this one in Germany and involving Israel. Saturday evening, January 25th, the Hannover Opera House live streams opening night of a newly commissioned opera, Echo 72, Israel in Munich, by Michael Wertmüller, free of charge on Opera Vision. This comes from the Staatsoper Hannover. It will be at 7:30 in the evening, European time, 1:30 your Saturday afternoon, 10:30 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. God bless Opera Vision for live streaming as many opera performances, I believe, as they can get people to let them live stream. They're an EU finance thing, and Access Arts Live grew out of an EU finance project, actually. So the opera will be sung in German with German and English subtitles. Now, what's it about? Well, back in 1972 at the Olympic Games in Munich, Islamic terrorists got into the quarters of the Israeli Olympic team, and slaughtered 11 of the Israeli athletes, and the German security forces were not able to protect them. This was a searing moment in the early 70s history, one of the first major terrorist incidents, before, when terrorist incidents were a little less common than they are now. This opera was commissioned by the Staatsoper Hannover. The libretto is by Roland Schimmelpfennig, who's done a series of adaptations of ancient dramas, which was entitled Anthropolis, which he did for the Deutsche Schauspielhaus in Hamburg, which is the German playhouse in Hamburg. Michael Wertmüller is the composer. He's a percussionist of origin, born in 1966, so he's about, 70, 80, 90, about 50 years old now, or something, 60 years old. And he has had works of his which premiered at places like the Lucerne Festival and the Hamburger Public Opera, the States Opera, but I was unable to find a notable opera of his before. But if any of you know of one, don't hesitate to comment. The director is Lydia Steyer, and they have, Opera Vision has live streamed her directing The Marriage of Figaro in Hanover and La Vestale with Paris Opera House. So, and the conductor is Titus Engel, who's a contemporary music expert. And if you're going to be working with Michael Wertmüller's music, I'll tell you, you need contemporary music experience. Now, the thing is, as for the cast, as far as I can tell, the cast is basically staff singers who are on the staff of the Hanover Opera. We will give you a link to the list of it, but it is so there are some stand-up international stars whom I could tell you about. This is something that you're going to want to tune into for the value of the historicity of it, and to hear a new avant-garde opera, which doesn't happen every day, you know. So that's on Saturday, free of charge, from Opera Vision, good old Opera Vision. I love those guys. Then, on Sunday night, we have another opera, again free of charge. Sunday night, the Teatri di Reggio Emilia in Lombardy teams up with Opera Streaming to bring you a rather unique live stream of Bellini's opera Capulets and Montagues with a soprano in the role of Romeo, free of charge. That will be at 3:30 in the afternoon, European time, 9:30 in the morning on the East Coast, 6:30 in the morning on the West Coast, 1:30 a.m. late night, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Well, as I was putting this together, I just came upon me by surprise. I didn't make a big deal out of it, but I noticed that Juliet is being played by Benedetta Torre, and Romeo is being played by Annalisa Stroppa, and that's the two of them. That's Romeo on the left, by the way, the soprano, and Juliet on the right. Tebaldo is sung by, or Tybalt is sung by Matteo Falsier, and Lorenzo is sung by Matteo Guerzi. I think we will be giving you in the links. Yeah, we give you the links to Romeo and Juliet's biographies and or personal websites. So this is an opera with a little bit of a twist to it. The conductor is Sebastiano Rolli, who has a lot of experience with chamber music. And Andrea De Rosa, who's a director of both theater and opera, is the director, and he's worked at the Mariinsky Theater in St. Petersburg, for example. So that's what we have for you on Sunday night. So you have Saturday and Sunday, and it's free of charge. So you may want to check it out. If in Europe, it'll be your Sunday afternoon, and in the U.S., it will be your Sunday morning, very early Sunday morning on the West Coast. But some of you West Coast people, I know you get up very early if you work in Hollywood, because the working hours there are atrocious. That's what we have this week for Big Stage Productions. There may be others lurking. There's both the St. Petersburg and the Moscow Philharmonic. It's very difficult for me to figure out what they're doing when, but most of the German orchestras do not have something going on this week, nor do most of the American orchestras. They're sort of laying low before they relaunch in the beginning of February after all of the end of the year fireworks. So let me remind you once again, if you're watching this on Facebook, click the like button and we'll send you an invite so you can follow us. And if you're watching on YouTube, then click on the subscribe button underneath the video box. Please also, if you watch us on our other platforms, follow us or subscribe. That would be X, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. Why are we live streaming on all of them? Because I want to reach as many people as possible. And why do we want more followers? Because I'm working full time on this now. So it would be nice to be able to eventually monetize all of it. You know, I mean, that would be cool, because I'm doing a lot of work on this, and without any compensation at all. And here is what we promise you in return. We promise you in return, subscribe or follow us, and we will get to you live links to more than 1,000 live performances online in 2025, many of which will be free of charge. And even those which cost you something will never cost you what it costs to walk into an orchestral hall, a concert hall, an opera house, a dance house, any kind of a concert or live performance. So I think it's worth it, and there's a growing global audience for it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for those who are watching us live. I cannot tell. I'm live streaming on multiple platforms, so I am not sure on which one you may be following us. It could be any one of those 6, but do say hello if you are, and if you have any comments, criticisms, or appreciation, we'd love to hear it. Ciao for now. I will be back tomorrow with one more roundup this week of the chamber music activities going on for the rest of the week. There's some good stuff coming up. I can tell you that. Ciao for now.